Hey guys, welcome to the shop. I'm your host, Charlie.
And I'm Al.
I was hoping you guys can answer who I am.
Oh! Who the heck are you?
I'm Tom.
Tom, that happens to be the name of our new guest.
What's up, Chief?
Oh man, yeah. So this is Tom, super cool guy, local
Hi.
writer extraordinaire, and avid comic fan.
Very much, sir. Yeah.
Oh man, it's great to have you on the shop.
Thank you. I've been wanting to be on here for a while. I've always wanted to be on a podcast.
Oh man, so
Making
Because-
dreams come true.
Thank
true.
He's at 19.
Oh man, so today we're talking about the MCU thus far. How do we like it? Do we have problems with it? Yeah, that whole deal. So Al, start with you.
Okay, so I love the MCU. Like, I love what they're doing. Like, back before it even started with Iron Man, I didn't really care about a lot of these characters. The only one I really cared about was Spider-Man, and he's like a newer addition, and I still find myself like being attached to everyone and all this stuff from characters way before he even showed up. So I think the MCU is amazing.
Tom?
Well, I've kind of grown up with the MCU. It was like what got me really into superheroes at least. So, my first movie I think was The Avengers. So that was pretty good. Yeah, no, I'm an avid fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
See, I came in with Iron Man. I don't even know how I ended up seeing Iron Man. I think someone wanted to see it, and I just kind of tagged along. And the second I saw him suit up, not like the desert suit up, right? But like after that.
The real suit.
Yeah, the real suit. Oh, man, my heart just
It was
it
love.
exploded. It was
Right.
love. It was true love. Robert Downey Jr., get at me.
Please don't add him.
At me instead.
Yeah, add
No.
Tom.
So,
But I think that Kevin Feige has done some incredible things with the MCU. I think he's expanded it to a point where even if you didn't like comics, you like the MCU.
Yeah.
And that's an incredible thing because we've had so many attempts to break into the comic universe that just didn't work out. You know? I mean, Spider-Man was a huge blockbuster, but nobody followed him after the movie.
yeah.
You
It
know?
just kind of
Yeah, it's
ended.
pretty much you just watch the movies and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, you have those cheesy 70s things with Iron Man and Thor and the Hulk. I mean,
I don't remember those ones.
yeah, those were... no, those were not good. But
All I remember is
the
that
first
the guy.
Fantastic Four.
All I remember is that the dad from Good Luck Charlie played Thor at one time, and he also, the guy who played Thor, shares a name with my friend, Eric Kramer.
interesting.
Thank you.
Anyways. No, but I think that the MCU is one of its kind, really, when we're talking about what they did with movies, adapting comics to movies, that it just blew a hole wide open in the entertainment industry.
Right.
So, I think there are some issues, though. All right, especially with the MCU and how they did huge Marvel events.
Right.
That happened that everyone knows and loves. Right. We are seeing Infinity Gauntlet play out now, which is, I mean, it's heartbreaking, but it's like that's what the Infinity Gauntlet was, right?
Yeah.
Tom?
I haven't read the original comic, but I assume so.
Oh my God! Oh, you're killing me here.
You're supposed to
Tom.
be our new comic
You're
guy. Come
killing me
on.
here.
I'm a DC guy, I'll admit.
Okay, well, speaking of heartbreak, that DC heartbreak.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
We're,
That hurts,
we're
man.
talking
Yeah.
about the MCU, not the Dark
not the
CU.
other one. Yeah. Oh my God. No. See, so the Infinity Gauntlet, by its nature, is just really sad, right?
Yeah.
All your favorite heroes dying. Fun fact: in the original Infinity Gauntlet series, Spider-Man, your boy,
Oh, boy.
got his head smashed in with a rock.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Too.
But, and you know, it was that kind of graphic, like angry writing and art that really moved Infinity Gauntlet into a place of reverence for comic readers. Like even if you're someone like Tom who hasn't
What's up?
read it, but you know of it, you know about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It changed the face of Marvel. And I think there was like a lot of introduction into that, into how they did Infinity War. But my biggest issue with the MCU in general is how they handled Civil War.
Oh boy.
All right.
Okay.
See, that's something
Here we
I've
go.
actually read. That was like one of my first like legit comics, and when I first read it, I really liked it. But then I read it like again, maybe a year or two later, and I was like, wow, this is not as good as I remember. I don't know how popular of opinion this is, but I think the movie is actually better than the comic.
Okay.
I played Ultimate Alliance, so my knowledge of it came from the game.
Okay. Well, I mean, to be fair, when you're looking at the Civil War problem, right? It's not. I think they did a really good job with the comic with showing that it's not very clear. You know, there's not really a good right answer.
Right.
Yeah, like you could see both sides of the argument.
Exactly. I mean, should superheroes release their identities?
Yeah.
But, they do need to be held accountable. There needs to be that sense of accountability, And it was a great tie-in for a lot of political problems that they were having at the time. So, on top of that, my big issue is that Civil War happened in a time where
Uh-oh.
I assume you're talking about the movie.
the movie Civil War could have been solved with a conversation, a 5-minute conversation between Tony Stark and Cap.
Right.
Bucky killed your parents, but he was brainwashed. Tony Stark explodes, he destroys everything, he has no idea where he even is, and then he calms down.
See, but I don't think that's really Tony Stark's personality type, though. I think he's more of the shoot first, ask questions later type guy. He always has been.
Yeah,
Which
but
is why you tell him when Bucky's not around.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, they spent half the movie looking for Bucky.
They tried to have that conversation, though.
So, in any case, I think the Marvel Universe went in some pretty awesome directions thus far, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. So, we have a lot of different viewpoints on Civil War, and while I believe that the movie ended up terrible because it's a 5-minute conversation that could have solved an entire conflict, that in itself is a problem, right? But
Yeah.
the comics told a different story.
Yeah.
So,
But, all right. So I feel like you can say that in the movie they could have solved that, but in the film they also could have solved that with like more of a much more civil, pardon the pun, conversation.
everyone out there is vomiting.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah, no, all right, so I got like a list of the reasons I don't like the comic as much as the movie. It's still a fine comic, by the way, but it's just not as good as people say, because I've heard a lot of people call it like one of the best Marvel stories. That's just not true in my opinion. First of all, there's just too many characters. I know that's just like kind of a low blow, but like there's like what, like 50 characters maybe? There's a lot who are just like, I don't know, who's this guy Goliath? What does he do? He grows? Cool, I've never heard of him before. Now we'll see him again. Who's this? Hercules? What? Isn't he a DC boy? I don't know.
Well, see, like, here's my issue with that, is that Civil War was created for people who've been following Marvel forever.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know about these characters. You know about Goliath. You know about Hercules. You know,
Right.
all of these little itsy-bitsy, oh my god, what is going on?
I don't know.
Dibs.
Gotta get to it first.
Oh, you're the worst. Oh, no.
Pure espresso in a skull shot glass.
All right,
wow.
let's watch him do it.
God!
He feels the power.
I don't drink
Wow,
caffeine,
that is
so-
energy.
Marvel, the Civil War was made for people who know everything
Right.
about Marvel.
Right.
Right? I think that's why it gets flack from people who get into it to start, right?
Yeah, because that was like one of my first comics, so that's like probably not one of the best ones to start with.
Yeah.
And even now, I'm not as big as a Marvel guy.
Yeah, and I think we see a lot of problems when you introduce too many characters too soon. Into the Spider-Verse, for example. It's a great movie, objectively, right? But I think they did too much with too many characters.
I thought they did that pretty well, actually, because, you know, there's very clearly, like, the main characters and then the side characters, and they very could have easily done the movie without, what was it, Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Ham, and Spider-Mac, Japanese Spider-Man?
Penny Parker.
Penny
Which was
Parker, yeah.
surprisingly very, like, it... I'm
Yeah,
not
there was,
Asian,
like,
but
nothing
that's,
done with her.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a little racist, isn't it? Okay, but anyways.
Yeah, no, they could have easily done that with just, like, those three main characters and just, like... But I feel like they did the introduction of those three guys well, where it's just... They're very clearly, like, joke characters for the most part.
Yeah. And I mean, the development of someone like Miles was incredible. Even though he didn't stick to the comics, you know? Prowler should have been a much less prevalent part of Miles' life. Right? But they kind of introduced him as the new Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, which, you know, I
Are we doing
think was a
spoilers for
smart
this,
move.
by the way? For Spider-Verse?
Yeah, it's been.
Yeah.
So.
Did he die? I forgot.
Prowler?
Yeah.
Prowler's dead.
Yeah, okay.
He died like 3 comics in.
No, in the movie. In
Oh,
Spider-Verse.
yeah, he's dead.
He's
he
dead.
dead.
All right.
He did. But anyways, so Civil War. I think Civil War, as far as it goes for a comic, it's definitely not your entry level.
Yeah, no.
It can't be.
Yeah.
Because you will be so lost so quickly with so many characters. But the quality of Civil War comes from its complexity.
Yeah.
And can I just say though, in Civil War, like say what you will about the movie, but that introduction of Spider-Man
Oh,
was probably
That was pretty good.
it was probably the best thing I have seen
That was
on a
like-
big screen.
what I loved about it is that it's so quintessential Spider-Man.
everyone.
Yeah.
It's quippy, it's funny, it's like very innocent, which we don't generally think about Spider-Man, but like he's a very innocent superhero.
Yeah.
Kinda deal.
And it's like you can even see like some of his actual nervousness, like Tom Holland's actual nervousness coming through to where like Robert Downey Jr. like in character told him to move his leg because he got the blocking wrong because he was just so nervous. So you had the very nervous Tom Holland meeting the big shot Robert Downey Jr. And in the same breath, you have the very nervous Peter Parker meeting the big shot Tony Stark. It's like, it's great.
Yeah, I think Marvel, Marvel Studios has taken such care to introduce these characters in a way that kind of parallels who they are in real life.
Yeah.
You know? And that kind of attention to detail is something we don't really see in a lot of comic book movies up until then.
Right.
You know?
Like Guardians of the Galaxy. I had no desire to see that movie. I had no desire to read the comics.
Yeah.
They're some of my favorite characters now. Just
absolutely.
they did so well with introducing them, showing that, this is what they're about.
And really, even when we talk about Guardians in the sense of, like, the comics, they're obscure.
Yeah.
No one really went out of their way to think, oh, the Guardians of the Galaxy are my favorite superhero team.
They are the Marvel guys. When you think of Marvel, I think of
The Guardians.
of the Galaxy.
Yeah. But, like, to me, it was always the Avengers were number one. Avengers were, like, the flagship. They were the
absolutely.
Yeah. But when you break them down into these smaller teams, I think you can really see the quality of the MCU thus far.
Yeah.
So, I think when it comes down to how we look at the MCU, we can't only be purists. Like, Tom and I are comic guys. That's what we do. We live and breathe comics. But we understand there has to be some kind of leeway to get people who are like, Al, you're not a comic guy, into...
I mean, I'm getting into comics.
You're getting into it, but, like, you didn't start there.
Yeah.
Right.
You weren't born into it like I was.
Molded by it. You had not yet seen a movie until you were already a man.
I mean, you didn't do the couple
No, but I mean, to be fair, it's like we have to have these concessions, though.
Yeah.
And as comic guys, sometimes it's frustrating. I know for me, the biggest issue that I have with the MCU is that when I see something like Into the Spider-Verse, for example, and I'm like, Miles is such an iconic comic book character, just perfect the way that he was written.
Right.
And when they change that, is it objectively still good? Yes, absolutely. I can't deny that they deserve every piece of accolade that they get, right? But it's not my Miles.
Hashtag not my Miles.
Hashtag not my Miles. But I think as far as it goes, we've been really fortunate to have people who actually care about these characters
Right.
bring them into the Marvel Universe. So, how about some last thoughts?
Let's see. Last thoughts.
Thinking about asparagus right now.
I am.
Why are you thinking about asparagus?
Because I just had some a couple days ago.
God, that pea must stank. Anyways,
But, so I think one thing that I do want to see going forward, because I know that a lot of characters have been introduced. I do want to see more characters because I do think that there are a ton that the MCU can introduce in a way that'll get me interested in the characters more than the comics themselves would. But I also want to see team-up movies. I want to see, like, Spider-Man team up with, like, I don't know, Black Panther. I want to
Deadpool.
see... Well, I mean, that's a whole thing, mixing in, like
God.
Sony and Marvel, like that. All that paperwork has to fly. I do want to see that, but...
what about you, Tom?
I don't know. I've really liked the MCU. I've grown up with the MCU. It's definitely they've got some of my favorite movies in there. I don't know. I'm worried about the future though, because after Endgame, it's looking kind of bland until they get the Fox characters into the mix again, because that deal's happening pretty soon, I think. But I'm kind of worried about Captain Marvel, because I don't think it looks like. I think it looks like an average Marvel movie. It looks like your Iron Man suit, your Doctor Strange. I think it looks like average, nothing special. It's not gonna be like Infinity War. It's not gonna be like Iron Man. It's just gonna be mediocre.
And you know what? I have faith in Marvel. I think that as far as we've seen, thus far, we have proof that they can turn really boring characters into something super cool. Really obscure characters into something that everyone loves. And I think that if we just put a little bit more time, a little bit more care into how we manage these characters, they're going to be the future for our kids. We're going to be watching these new superheroes be like our Iron Man,
Right.
our Thor, our Hulk.
No, this
for
is very clearly
future generations.
This is very much the Star Wars of our generation. Yeah.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. And you know what, guys? Thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you in the shop. All right, Tom. It's great to have you on here.
Good to be on here.
And but now, I think it's time to gain this grain. Yeah. Talk about sponsors. So sponsors, Iron Buffalo, place for gaming, comics, coffee. Very good, very cool. And Under the Sun on eBay, where you can find anything you need under the sun. Check them out. They're great. They're awesome. Oh my God, this is great. I feel great. Oh yeah. I'm gonna die.
Hey guys, if you like what you saw, be sure to follow our social media. We've got Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. Or dislike. I mean, you get revenue either way, so... No, stop it!